Is the iPhone 16 Pro Max worth it? It's a question I got, and I think it's an important question that a lot of people have. So I'm going to answer it very, very succinctly. Maybe. So I think it is worth it for certain people who are looking to get an upgrade for their iPhone, people who like to get year-over-year upgrades, maybe not so much as worth it, but it's certainly something you can do. Of course, spend your money how you want, YOLO. But abstractly, taking a look at it, looking at the other devices on the market, Apple unarguably brings a lot of value to the game because not only do you get the iPhone, and I still think they have the best video, they have some of the best camera taking capabilities. It's got impressively all day long battery. We're still waiting on Apple Intelligence, and that's one little piece that's out there where I'm like, well, it is worth it, but if you care about Apple Intelligence, I mean, you could always wait and see how that goes because, well, quite frankly, if you've got the iPhone 15 Pro Max, you're going to get the Apple Intelligence features anyway. So that's not really an upgrade feature. And then if you don't care about Apple Intelligence or it shows up and you don't like it, well, if you're happy with your 14 or 13 Pro series, really, if you wanted, you could hold on to that for another year. So it's one of those things where, yes, it is worth it. Yes, it can be worth it. Yes, it might not be worth it. And all three of those things encapsulated in the same sentence. So, expensive phone, $11.99, 256 gigabytes of storage. It has 8 gigabytes of RAM, and of course, it's got the titanium built in. 50% improvement on the ceramic shield. That's something that's going to help out with the scratches and things like that. It of course has your MagSafe for your charging, so you can do that for the wireless charging. You've got your USB-C charging on the bottom. You've got the new camera action button over here. So if you're new to that, press the button, turns on the camera, and it's cool because you can use the little camera action button. It's touch sensitive. You can use it as a slider. You can adjust different profiles. You can adjust the zoom and things like that. That's pretty neat if you care about it. There's been a lot of stuff online, though. A lot of people saying it's not worth it. It's kind of crappy. I don't really have one opinion on it one way or the other. Like, it's okay. It's fine. I'm glad that it's there. I don't think that it hurts being there, and I don't think it's terrible. It's just something, are you going to use it? Or are you going to just use the regular old shutter button, right? You got the action button, but that was already there with the iPhone 15 Pro series. So, yeah, if you're coming from the 15 Pro, there's not really a whole lot there other than these three things: heat, battery, and signal. And I want to talk about that because that's probably the biggest change for me with this phone as opposed to last year, because my 15 Pro Max had terrible battery life. It got super, super hot, and it didn't have very good signal, whether that was Wi-Fi. Anytime it would hand off from Wi-Fi to a regular cell phone signal, it would just not even use data half the time. I would have apps that would freeze. So yeah, my iPhone 15 Pro experience was pretty terrible. So those were things that I looked at immediately when I got this phone. Battery life, fantastic. You should be able to get 8, 9, 10 hours screen on time out of this thing in a single day. That's fantastic. And then on top of that, the signal, it seems much improved. Of course, you've got RCS support, but of course other iPhones have that as well, so it's not unique to this, which makes it for better communication with your fellow Android people. So you can have better group chats, you can have better messages, you can send better videos, better pictures, get your read receipts, all those things. So the gulf in having a decent communication system between Apple and Android is better than ever. But again, you can do that with several generations past of the iPhone now with iOS 18. iOS 18 is cool, but that's not exactly unique to the iPhone 16, so that's not really a selling point. And then you do have the satellite communication stuff. I have tested it out. It's kind of neat, where you can actually send a text message to somebody over satellite. It doesn't cost anything, at least now. I think this says it's going to be free for like 2 years, but that's pretty neat. And then, of course, you have your Apple services, Apple Card, Apple Fitness Plus, Apple TV, all those things, which are not really unique to this phone. But hey, if you're going to take advantage of them, take advantage of them. The iCloud is really nice. And then it starts with 256 storage, but basically like what they did, same as last year, they got rid of the 128 model, so there's no longer a 1099 model. You got to pay the $11.99. So I've been using this phone for over a week, and I kind of bounced back and forth a little bit because last couple of days I've been testing out the regular Pro as opposed to the Pro Max. Pro Max, you're going to have definitely a bigger experience with the screen, better battery life. You have this 6.9-inch display, and both Pro phones is neat. There's basically no bezel on it anymore. If that's a selling feature for you, then by all means go there. 2000 nits brightness. It is perfectly bright. I have no issues there. ProMotion 120 hertz display, whether it's actually 120 hertz or not, because it very aggressively throttles it and goes to like 60 and 80 hertz way too frequently for my choice. But hey, it is capable of 120 hertz. The camera system on here is good. You've got the 120 frames per second 4K video now, so you can do like professional high quality slow-mo, and then they've got like the studio audio capability, which is cool, and it has these new, they call them studio microphones. The microphones do seem better in here, especially for recording video. So that's something that I've enjoyed as well. I did shoot a video the other day that I recorded the entire thing using this, and it does sound better, even in my not so good soundproof office that I have here. So overall, answering that question, is it worth it? Well, if you're an iPhone person, it's going to be more worth it for you probably because you like the iPhone ecosphere. But also, if you like those other products, if you've got, let's say, a Mac, a MacBook, MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, if you've got an iPad, if you like the AirPods, we just saw you got the new AirPods Generation 4, the upgraded and the regular models. Of course, the upgraded ones have the noise cancellation and transparency without ear tips. That's pretty cool. AirPods Max, which is kind of a joke because all they did was just, we thought we were getting AirPods Max 2, but they just added USB-C and a few new colors, even though that purple color is absolute fire, and I want them, but I'm not spending $500. I actually bought a pair of AirPods Max after that event because they had a pair refurbished at Best Buy for $299. I had a $50 gift card, so I got them for $249. So make your money work for you. So yeah, Apple Watch is cool. I do have an Apple Watch Ultra. It's a fantastic watch. I very much enjoy it. It's a really, really good smartwatch. So if you've got some of those things and you're sticking with the ecosphere, if you've got an iPhone 12 Pro Max, 13 Pro Max, or a regular series, iPhone 13, 14, then yeah, it's going to be a tremendous upgrade in a lot of ways. Top-notch camera stuff. You got the 48 megapixel Fusion. You got the new HDR, better low light. You've got HDR with the ultra wide now, so that's something that's cool. People are taking some really cool ultra wide shots. Of course, you got your macro capabilities as well. You can shoot full 48 megapixel RAW with the camera. Like, there's a lot of stuff here. If you're looking to use this as a camera alternative, it's hugely worth it, which is what I do. I make a living using this thing. I record all of my videos with my iPhone. I don't use a regular camera. So from that regard, yeah, it's massively worth it. It allows me to do what I do for a living. And you could do that with other phones, but the nice thing is with that symbiotic relationship that you have between like all the Mac products, it's amazing where all I do is record my video, airdrop it to my MacBook, edit it, upload it to the internet, I'm good to go. And that's one of the reasons why I stick with carrying one of these as a secondary phone, other than just my tech obsession. And also, it's nice to be able to use to find my stuff with my kids. I like to be able to play Apple Message games with them, so on and so forth. They have Apple cards that are tied into mine. They use my Apple card, and then I keep track of their expenses. I authorize them purchases and things. So it really is great from a family perspective. I think even better than Android. Yes, they have apps for pretty much all that stuff in Android, but to have all of it built and tied into the system is so nice. So I still think iPhones are the best phones for families. And then, of course, iMessage is fantastic. It works great over internet, and especially like traveling on planes and things like that. So yeah, if you're interested, I think it's worth it. If you're not interested, it probably isn't going to be worth it. So it might not be worth having that discussion. But not everybody likes Android, right? And clearly, Apple sells 80, 90 million of these phones a year of their phones, not just the Pro Max series, but they sell a lot of phones. So yeah, they're doing something right. And the S24 Ultra, Samsung, they make a great phone. I mean, there's other alternatives in the world too. You could get like a Motorola Razr if you like the flip phone. Clearly, Apple doesn't have flip phones. They don't have foldable phones. They don't have that cool stuff. So part of that allure in the Android world, there's something that they have to offer that Apple doesn't. And I like that. I like choice. I like options. I like those different brands that bring a different flavor of life to Android. But if you don't like Android and you like Apple, then yeah, the 16 Pro Max I think is worth it. Again, if you got a 15 Pro Max, you're probably not going to want to upgrade unless you're having those issues like I had. If you had issues with battery, issues with heat, issues with the signal, then this has been such a nice, refreshing update because I'm not having any of those problems. The phone's not getting super hot anymore when I'm just doing basic stuff or going outside. It charges quickly enough. Battery lasts tremendously longer for me. By the end of the life on my iPhone 15 Pro Max, I was getting like 5 hours of screen on time. I think I killed it from zero, like from 100 to like 18, 20% one day in 4.5 hours. Like, it was just terrible. So to be able to get like 9 hours of screen on time, lasts me all day long. It's not getting hot. I'm having noticeably better signal, especially over my iPhone 15 Pro Max. My son has an iPhone 15 Pro Max. We go a lot of the same places together. He's like, this isn't even pulling up on my phone. I'm like, well, working great for me. So yeah, I saw that question and I thought, you know what, let me go ahead and try and answer this one. And yeah, I think the cameras are excellent. I think the video is still the best. I think that from an iPhone perspective, it's the best experience you can get in an iPhone. Again, there is still the lingering frustration with the fact that Apple Intelligence is not available and not ready. So if you care about Apple Intelligence, you can always wait. iOS 18.1 is going to roll out the first Apple Intelligence features in October. We're going to get more features in December. And then I think the updated Siri and some more stuff next year, which is crazy because we're already going to have the S25 out by then, and we're already going to be talking about the iPhone 17 by then, right? So it's a precarious position where we're at right now. So it's like, okay, if you just want the latest and greatest, go buy it. Cool. If you've got an iPhone 15 Pro Max, you definitely don't need it unless you fit the category I talked about earlier. If you got a 14 or earlier series, there are some really nice things you can get, like the action button, USB-C, the camera controls, upgraded camera stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff there that's really neat. Definitely, I think, worth considering, especially if you're in your upgrade cycle with, let's say, an iPhone 13 or a 14 series, and it's time for you to get a new one with your carrier. Maximize that trade-in, go get your new phone. I mean, that's the smart thing to do. So there's a lot of ways I think it is worth it. And then if you're just a very cautious, kind of sitting there utilitarian person going, okay, this phone is not even at 100% yet, I'll consider giving it my money later. And then by that time, you'll be like, well, maybe we could wait on the iPhone 17, or maybe you can get a good deal with your carrier, or maybe something else later on down the road. So very few people, I'd say, probably still sit in the wait and see category, but there are a lot of people I think could benefit and enjoy it. And it's been a really good experience for me, which is saying a lot because I don't even like Apple. So anyway, that's pretty much all I got. Also, this is the Apple silicone case. It is nice. It's fancy. It works just as well as ever. And I'm going to try something this year because I was talking to the people at the Apple store. I'm like, you know, I love these silicone cases, but they start to peel on me after a few months. They're like, well, you know, it has a 1-year warranty. You could bring it back and switch it out for another one. So I might have to try that out in 3 or 4 months once this starts to peel. And mine starts to peel exceptionally fast because I'm always taking the case off when I'm recording and editing, like doing videos and stuff. So anyway, that's just some food for thought there. But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts. Generally, I think it's worth it. And I'm going to go ahead and sign off on that. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, gripes, complaints, go to the comment section. We can discuss it there. If you enjoyed the video, if you found this helpful, please, of course, hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.